Hey everyone, welcome to the penultimate episode this season of the Offstage Mic. This is one of the most important episodes of the season. I know I think a lot of episodes this season have been so packed with value and important, but this one I say is one of the most important episodes because every arts organization everywhere says they want to be financially sustainable. And one of the biggest mistakes I see arts organizations make in their quest for financial sustainability is focusing too much on major gifts. You're probably like, Aubrey, what do you mean? How can we be focusing too much on major gifts? Like, we can't even balance the budget right now or pay the bills on time. So how are we possibly focusing too much on the big gifts that are the key to fixing this financial mess? And I know, I've been there. I totally get it. I mean, I used to think if I could just get a couple more major donors, right? Or if we could just bring in big chunks of money or revenue or donors, then we don't have to worry, right? That's the other half of the thought. We don't have to worry. But that is code for if I have big chunks of money, I don't have to worry about smaller amounts of money or smaller amounts of revenue in the form of individual ticket sales and even lower level donations. And then I learned the hard way, really, that relying on big chunks of money, relying on these massive major gifts is actually a lot riskier. How many times have you seen organizations have to drastically cut the budget because their one large donor pulled out, for example, or their biggest corporate sponsor pulled out, or their biggest foundation stopped funding them, for example? Or how many times have you seen organizations, this could even be your organization, and I've been here too as well, where you are actually beholden to what a few donors think or want because you know if they go, we're in trouble. So I am here to tell you that focusing on major gifts doesn't relieve you from focusing on smaller individual revenue streams. Major gifts come because you focused on the other revenue streams of tickets, subscriptions, and smaller non-major donations. So we're not here to say goodbye to major donors. We're here to help us actually get more of them in the end. This whole season, we are talking about how to grow the base, right? If you've been listening, like hopefully this sounds right in line with everything else we've been talking about. We have talked about how to strategically segment your audience, talk to each group of people, no matter where they are in their patron journey with your organization. So again, I am not here to say don't go for major donors. Don't hear me saying that. I will happily accept a major gift any day of the week, right? I just don't want to be beholden to chasing those gifts because I haven't done the order of operations right and built the pipeline to get those major gift supporters. When you do that, when you don't get the order of operations right, that is like watering only the leaves of a tree, but forgetting that it all actually is nourished from the roots. So it's not about how much will you lose if you stop chasing after big gifts to bail you out. It's about how many more new, large, substantial, generous, major gifts you will receive when you've built the whole pipeline infrastructure to get you there. What we are talking about today is the best path towards that recurring, reliable, sustainable, contributed revenue. Think about this. What if you could have reliable revenue every month you could count on, that you could budget for, almost like passive income? This is not a dream, what I'm describing here. What we are talking about is monthly giving. Let me just give you this stat. Recurring donors give 42% more annually than one-time donors. That comes from classy.org for those of you who follow Classy. That's one of a million benefits you're going to hear about today, including the billions of dollars, literally billions of dollars of revenue available to nonprofit organizations who do focus on sustainable giving. Like, they've literally calculated this projection. It's not hyperbole. It's actually a quite conservative estimate, and we're going to explain it all as we get into it later. For now, the point is recurring revenue is revenue you can count on and plan for, not one-time gifts that you have to chase for renewal next year, not major donors you over-rely on like a piggy bank for your organization, but sustainable revenue that waters from the roots the whole tree of your arts organization. I talk about the subscription and membership economy in my own book. I talk about retention a lot, as you know, pretty much always. But this conversation goes deeper on all of that, I would say. And I have an excellent guest who literally wrote the book on this topic. So now you have a choice. You can keep exhausting yourself, hoping for more major donors by watering the leaves of the tree, or, last part of this metaphor, you can nurture and water the roots, and you can grow an even bigger tree that still has major donors we love, you love, probably even more of them with the strategy we lay out today, and we're going to show you how, and also have that ongoing support at every level, recurring every month, predictably, reliably, and sustainably. Oh, I am so glad you are here for this one. Guys, let's do it. I'm Aubrey Bergauer, and welcome to my podcast. I'm known in the arts world for being customer-centric, data-obsessed, and for growing revenue. The arts are my vehicle to make the change I want to see in this world, like creating places of belonging, pursuing gender and racial equality, developing high-performing teams and leaders, and leveraging technology to elevate our work. I've been called the Steve Jobs of classical music and the Sheryl Sandberg of the symphony. I've held offstage roles managing millions of dollars in revenue at major institutions, been chief executive of an orchestra where we doubled the size of the audience and nearly quadrupled the donor base. And now I'm here to help you achieve that same kind of success. In this podcast, we are sorting through data and research inside and outside the arts, applying those findings to our work in arts management, and bringing in some extra voices along the way, all to build the vibrant future we know is possible for our institutions and for ourselves as offstage administrators and leaders. You're listening to the Offstage Mic. Hi everyone, Aubrey here. I want to share a quick case study with you. About a year ago, Austin Chamber Music Center knew they needed to work on identifying prospective donors and building relationships with the donors they already had. Plus, they went through a leadership transition and knew they needed to fundraise more and fast. They came to Annual Fund Toolkit, who did a comprehensive analysis of their donor base, then developed a system for the organization to connect with those donors based on their needs and giving styles. They did all of this using a multi-channel combination of in-person asks, email, social media, and direct mail. By the end of the fiscal year, their year-to-date fundraising had doubled compared to the year prior. And that's just the numbers. They now also have a streamlined process for tracking and maintaining donor relationships going forward. How did they do all this? They did it with Annual Fund Toolkit. Annual Fund Toolkit is not just another consulting firm. What sets them apart is their laser focus on two critical challenges: improving donor retention and growing the major gifts pipeline. This can be your organization too, because this is what Annual Fund Toolkit does every day. Their founder, Luis Diaz, is one of the most brilliant minds in fundraising I've ever met. The organizations that utilize Annual Fund Toolkit's advice and assistance are coming out ahead. To read the full case study, head over to get.annualfundtoolkit.com/ACMC. That's get.annualfundtoolkit.com/ACMC for Austin Chamber Music Center. Trust me, your donors and your mission will thank you. My guest today is Dana Snyder. Dana Snyder is a dynamic speaker, author of the Monthly Giving Mastermind, host of the nonprofit podcast Missions to Movements, and the visionary creator of the Monthly Giving Summit. Her mission is to create sustainable giving models by establishing robust monthly giving programs, making philanthropy accessible to all. Dana's impressive career includes serving as a senior digital strategist at DKC in New York City, where she worked with prestigious clients such as The Honest Company, Sports Illustrated, and Delta Airlines. She also brought her digital expertise to American Idol as a digital producer. Additionally, Dana has held the roles of Director of Marketing and Development for Take Stock and Children of Sarasota County and Client Manager at Omnigon. You're going to hear us talk about this intersection of digital marketing chops that Dana has and how that matters for stronger fundraising. But meanwhile, Dana is also a sought-after keynote speaker and workshop facilitator, and I am so glad you get to benefit from all of her expertise right now. Dana Snyder, welcome to the Offstage Mic.
Thanks for having me. This is exciting.
The first thing I want you to talk about is, you mentioned there is a $9 billion opportunity for recurring revenue in the United States. What is it? Why? Just start there. Tell me everything.
Yes. So I'm in this new partnership, this task force, this monthly giving task force with Giving Tuesday and RKD Group. And we've been having some pretty big dialogues at the beginning of this year of 2025 around recurring giving and the opportunities that there are for nonprofits. And I was sharing with Giving Tuesday that I'm bringing together 4,700 nonprofits on this one topic. And they're like, okay, this isn't released yet, but we're going to allow you to share it. And based upon their research and their studies right now, only 3% of US charitable donations are given on a recurring basis. But if we move that from 3 to 5%, a 2% increase, that unlocks $9 billion in annual funding for nonprofits. What I didn't share was if we go from 3 to 9%, because it's going to take a lot of work, that's like $21 billion in annual recurring revenue, not just a one-time.
Wow. Okay. So I knew there was a lot on the table for recurring revenue. That's why I champion recurring revenue and particularly monthly giving. So tell me about the donor side, though. Why do donors give recurring versus one time?
So the biggest, and I mean, I'm one of them. So I give to 5 organizations as a monthly donor right now. And the biggest difference is usually that they're just asked to give in that way, or they're given the option to give in that way. And they want to because they believe in the long-term vision of the organization. Ending hunger, a water crisis, arts development, like these things don't happen in a month. They don't happen in a day. They're not going to happen in a year. They're not going to happen in 5 years. And we know that it's going to take the long run. So investing in a recurring gift, even if it's in a smaller capacity, leads to substantial change. And from working with nonprofits, they're able to have predictable funds to be able to really put programs in place and plan for them in advance. So it's a big difference.
Yeah, no, absolutely. From the organization side, it makes so much sense. But I'm glad to hear you speak from the donor side of, we're not solving insert fill in the blank mission-driven thing in our one-time gift.
Yeah. And I'd say on even a selfish side, a lot of people just want to do something good every day. Like, how can I intentionally feel good about making a difference, even if I can't? I call them micro philanthropists. And I might not be able to donate $1,000 or X amount, but I can give $25 a month 5 times to the organizations that I love, right? Or whatever that incremental amount is. And so it's like this concept of living charitably, doing good every single day. And so when the ask is met with the person, then that's when action can happen.
You do such a good job in your book of just arming readers with all kinds of stats and successful examples of exactly what you're describing right now. Just so many monthly giving programs. And the readers can use that to make the case at their own organization, right? And so I'm wondering just right now, can you share just some of those great stats, some of those reasons why are these monthly giving programs so impactful to the organization?
Yes. Oh my gosh. And all different sizes. So what I wanted to make sure that I didn't just share is the ones that we normally Google and find. So normally in most articles, it's the large organizations that were here, the Save the Children, the Charity Water, She's the First. And that is so unattainable and the 1% of 1% of nonprofits. And so the book shares all sizes of success. And that is applicable to the mom and pop shops to the large ones. So I'll share a couple examples that are super timely, just coming off of the backs of the Monthly Giving Summit. Liza was the ED from Mulatto. She's been a part of my Monthly Giving Mastermind. So before we worked together, in September of 2022, she had 12 monthly donors. So when she first created monthly giving for her organization, that was raising just under $20,000 a year. Then she joined the monthly giving program in 2023, and now they're at over 70 monthly donors as of December of 2024 at 64,000, almost 61,500 per year. And her growth is just catapulting. So at a small organization level, that's a really big difference. In the intermediate group, Maggie from Blink Now, she has a monthly giving program called The Roots. And last year in 2024, their monthly donors, I think they're in that couple thousand range, 36% of their operating budget for unrestricted funds is from their monthly giving program. So the amount that they can plan because of this donor stream, and not only are they monthly donors, but they're also one-time givers that give additionally. They are also the volunteers. They are also, right? And then on a large scale organization, REA is mentioned in the book, and he is the COO of Daily Giving. And what I love talking about this organization is they only ask for recurring gifts. And I think that is just so against the grain of everything we know. And they have over 20,000 monthly donors. They just started in 2019. And theirs is $1 a day concept. So the average gift is around $30, $31. And they send an email every single day, and it's thriving.
Oh, okay. Thank you for sharing different size organizations. What I want to talk to you about is your experience really as a digital marketing consultant. So many people think, particularly in the arts, marketing is over here and development is over here. And I don't believe that at all. Then I see you writing a book on fundraising as a digital marketing consultant, and it just totally supports this point. So will you talk about the relationship between the skills of digital marketing and recurring monthly giving?
Huge. Okay, so I'm going to take an internal and an external perspective to this. So internally, my business is 8 years old, and I did start as like an agency in digital marketing. And then in 2020, there was a significant, you probably saw this in the industry too, a significant jump in the amount of nonprofit tech platforms, donation tools. And I am just tech curious. And so I'm always looking into what's happening. And so as a digital marketer, I'm always assessing tech. Am I using the right technology? Is this the best technology for my clients? Is this the best overall tech stack? The CRM, the donation tool, the email provider, the social channels, what's that ecosystem? So internally from a skill set, those things need to talk to each other for a monthly giving program, or it's going to be chaos. And a major thing that I work with clients on are optimizing the donation tools they use and then getting them to talk to each other, or switching because they don't. And so often when we're in a new front end donation tool conversation or CRM, there's some sales obviously woven into that, but we have to ask the question, do they natively connect? Am I going to have to use a tool like Zapier to connect them? Does that even exist? Does it give us what we need or not? And if they're going to be fragmented, that means your data is fragmented. So from a digital marketing head internally, I'd say that is core. Like I've actually been talking about that a lot, because if you don't have that, then that's really difficult on you as the fundraiser to retain supporters, because the comms are going to be disconnected. On the frontward facing side of marketing and acquisition and retention, that's also extremely important, because that comes in line with your website. Are you running social ads? That's your emails. That's everything that might be more forward facing. So they both are equally as important. Just one is in your forward and one's your internal.
I could not agree more. I love everything you're saying. And also, you talk about treating your monthly giving program as a product, meaning it has a launch like any other product. In other words, it has a solid marketing strategy behind the launch. It has a dedicated budget, having a team to promote it. Can you just kind of take us a step farther on all of this?
Yeah. So step one in my book is create the product. And just how we have, so like I have an example, a poppy, and there is a reason and a design, podcast listener, for this can, the colors. The name of this one is Doc Pop. Like there's a reason for the name of it. There's a reason for the price point. There's a reason of the marketing language that's on the back of the can and what they're sharing with us. All of this should be the amount of attention that we give to a monthly giving program or product. It should have a name. It should have its own landing page. It should have its own language about why it's so important to give on a recurring basis. It calls in the community. It should have specific impact giving amounts on that form versus the ones that are going to be your one-time giving amounts. So everything about it should be treated as a product in the creation and the support. So what marketing dollars or attention are you going to give that program in order to succeed? And so one major reason why I think it's so important to have its own product and it not just be like a checkbox on a form is, what if someone didn't mean to give monthly? Are they going to be mad? And if you have a separate landing page that is literally called Join the Blank, all the way down the page, it's calling out monthly. The form is only monthly. Like, you, in your retention, the email they get is thank you for joining as a monthly donor. Like, you have done your due diligence. And if that person on accident, for whatever reason, somehow in that page clicked give monthly, followed all the prompts and doesn't want to give monthly anymore, that's okay. And that's not fine. That's not on you. But that's kind of the genesis of the create the product, and why for a launch, it allows you to also direct people to somewhere really specific. Don't send them to your homepage and hope they find it, or even send them to a donate page where there's a one-time option and then they're like, what was I supposed to do here? And it's just confusion. We don't have time for all that. We need to make it simple and clear and concise.
Yes, people need to be led. There's all kinds of research, I'm sure you know, about like how simple actually leads to more conversions. So now where I want to go is, let me just zoom out a bit. Start at the beginning. Talk us through, just name the 5 steps as much as you want to share to grow and sustain subscriptions, memberships, monthly giving for good.
Yes. So number 1 is create the product. And I would even say that you should be the chief evangelist of recurring giving in your organization, because you have to really want to focus on it. Step 2 is make it easy. And so that's all about optimizing your donation forms, your website, but really the forms, and making sure that process is as seamless as possible for the donor. Step 3 is call in the believers. So like you just mentioned, this is all about the messaging that you're utilizing on that page and how you're calling in your biggest super fan. This also, call the believers, is around your partnerships. So who are you bringing into your space that can help you reach more believers? Dr. Marcus Collins, he just talks about niche down and finding the culture of people that you're looking for. You don't need the masses. You actually want to go smaller, and then you'll find your core people. Step 4 is make the ask. So this is literally the timing of how are we going to make the ask? What I recommend are having 10-pole moments and then having evergreen comms. So the only way monthly giving is going to grow is if you ask. If you ask when you're speaking at events, if you ask when you're on a podcast and you're talking about your mission, you ask in your emails, you ask during your campaigns, and then you have tentpole moments that are specific, bigger times. So we talk about PR in that section. We talk about social media. We talk about 4 like case study examples of other nonprofits are asking with social ads. And then step 5, which is honestly the most important part and like the crux of a solid monthly giving program, is share constant joy and gratitude. Essentially, what that means is someone felt so good when they clicked donate to be a monthly donor. How do you every single month bring back that joy? And solid monthly giving programs, a lot of clients I work with have a 90% plus retention rate of those donors for years. And then those donors become your major donors.
I love that. Thank you for laying that out. So, okay, let me just start here. I keep thinking how to make the case for support for monthly giving for donors at an arts organization. This is where my mind keeps going. I totally believe in this strategy, but I keep thinking of other successful monthly giving programs, and they are meeting deep, deep needs in this world. Clean water, hunger, like you said. I'm a believer in this strategy, but even when I think about what's happening at the Kennedy Center right now in arts and culture, like my heart is broken, but it's still not the same deep-seated need as trying to end human trafficking or giving people clean water. Do you think, given this, I guess I'm just playing a little bit of devil's advocate, can this work for an arts organization?
1,000,000%. I mean, when we think about music and how it literally brings people out of the darkest times of their life, they bring out arts, the biggest emotions in us, and it is core to so many communities and supporting kids and adults. And whether it's theater, whether it's music, whatever it is, like, it is all about what uniquely identifies with someone and what they feel called to support. And arts is life-changing. My recommendation would be to never doubt the movement of that. And so we all kind of have this questioning or doubt, but the belief in, and especially with arts, it was really impactful because you bring people most of the time to a physical seat. They are leaving their house, they are getting in a car, they are getting dressed. The whole thing is a really big deal of what you make possible. And then that gives them joy, or a lot of times, education on something new.
Thank you for that answer, because hearing you say that, now what's going through my mind is, Aubrey, it's not about life or death. Actually, it's about an emotional response. That is what the arts, I think, inherently have in our corner, because we provide experiences that evoke emotion. Here's a fun fact. A returning audience member is worth 7 times more than a first-timer. Yes, I am talking about audience retention, one of my favorite topics, but the problem I hear all the time from arts organizations is how to best track your own patron retention data across marketing and development. That's why I want to tell you about Artelize. Artelize has brilliantly solved this challenge. Their audience retention dashboard is the one-stop place to access your audience data across every important metric: first-time buyers, multi-buyers, subscribers, and donors. I've worked with a lot of tools and data management programs over the years. The Artelize Audience Retention Dashboard works with any CRM, and it supports arts organizations of all sizes all over the globe. If you can upload a spreadsheet, within minutes, you can access all your data, your key patron segments, and top retention metrics, beautifully laid out and easy to read. It's just that easy, no joke. And their tool even makes real-time recommendations based on your patron data to boost conversion at each stage of the customer journey. So you can see what's working, refine your approach, and keep doubling down on what drives the best results. The Artelize team brought me into their process, and we had clients test the product with their own real data. So let me tell you, I have seen firsthand the immense time, money, and effort this dashboard can save arts organizations, allowing you to finally harness your data in one place. Think. Easier collaboration between marketing and development efforts, easier for presenting at board meetings, easier to see everything in one place without running multiple reports. If you are ready to grow, retain, and engage your audience with data-driven tools that are easy and fast to use, visit aubreybergauer.com/dashboard. Listeners of this podcast save 20%, and members of my Run It Like a Business Academy save even more. That's www.aubreybergauer.com/dashboard to learn more about Artelize today. Well, since we're talking about what we have in our corner and what to do right or what we have right, my next question is, you became really a secret shopper of monthly giving programs. You say in your book, you joined one and you took notes, right? So what are the things the best programs did right, did well? Like, just tell us definitely what to do if you have some pro tips.
I can share some definite to do and some definite maybe don't do. Definitely do have that separate landing page. Definitely do have an immediate welcome series because it's fresh in people's minds. So the ones that were reaching out quickly and consistently, ones that had an SMS approach, monthly donors are way more likely to share a phone number with you, an address with you, because they are saying I'm committed to the long-term vision. So ask for those things, ask for specific data points. So when I received a secondary point of communication, I was really impressed, and I'm on my phone all the time. Emails can often get lost. Definitely don't forget to communicate in multiple channels. But yeah, I secret shopped because I wanted to get a sense of how mostly what's happening on the retention side, because you can see a lot of the frontward facing stuff, obviously, but on the back end, what is that experience? How easy is it to cancel? How difficult is it? What platforms were really seamless on the back end? All that kind of stuff.
Okay, I want to come back to major gifts. This was another part of your book where I was pretty much jumping up and down as I was reading it. And that's the part where you say most organizations have a major gifts officer role. If it's not somebody's title, at a smaller organization, then it's definitely always major gifts, always part of somebody's job. And What if an organization, though, you said had a sustainer role or a sustainer team, a sustainer program manager? A lot of organizations have donor relations specialists or, something like that. So it's not a huge stretch in my mind. But will you just talk about, what these roles are in your mind? What do they do? How would somebody build this out, I guess, is what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah, they're getting more popular. If you start to search on LinkedIn, actually, there's more roles that you'll see if you type in sustainer or even monthly giving specialist. And their sole focus is acquiring and sustaining this community. And so they should be in every fundraising and marketing program meeting to be able to learn about like what the needs are. This is your core group of people who are literally in it with you, an extension of the team. And if you want them to feel like that heartbeat, then they should be receiving different content. If you're acquiring them, a lot of times this person is researching what's the best way to do that. They're testing social media ads. Maybe they're doing face-to-face. Maybe they're doing direct mail pieces alongside everything else that's going on. But when you're able to make it just one person, if you're just starting with one, and then hopefully it can become more than just one, but you're giving them time to focus specifically on this very special group of people and the retention. What does a 12-month plus retention cycle look like for the supporters? Paying attention to the needs of these people, especially as it grows and you get thousands and thousands of supporters, that they need a contact person to talk to if they need to manage their gift or they have a question. So this person is the one that's designated to serving this growing community.
It's so funny because I think we maybe even talked about this when I was on your podcast, but I talk all the time about, how do we bring our marketing and development work together so that it's patron loyalty? You're using the word sustainer. I mean, it's all like versions of the same concept of like, how do we move people along on this journey of engagement that never ends? So how then do you move monthly donors to major donors? What do you recommend?
So that's looking into your data and understanding capacity of giving, consistency of giving. One thing I definitely recommend doing every single year is having an upgrade campaign. And so with your monthly donors, and you can determine when in the year is right for you, but you're usually asking for that like 3 to 5% jump. But let's just say somebody goes from $50 a month to $500. And you're like, whoa, what's going on there? Maybe we should have a conversation with them. Another thing that can happen is as they're giving other incremental one-time gifts. And it's like, oh, okay. And maybe those are larger at a couple thousand. You're like, okay, this person's on our radar now because they're growing in the engagement, like you were saying, community with you. So just paying attention to kind of the clues that are being given to you and just nurturing that relationship with that individual. It's also interesting on the flip side, even if somebody might not be a monthly donor, but you're talking about your monthly giving community and the growth of it, something that Scott Harrison just said recently at We Are for Good's Impact Up event was the masses fuel the majors. It's important for major donors to see that you have a growing, strong community of monthly supporters because they want to see that. And they know that if that's happening, we keep saying the word sustainable, but it is. There's a reason why in the for-profit world, there's a subscription economy and it's booming and we all have a bazillion subscriptions. And there should be a large reason why we also love it, and especially in the climate that we're in, to have predictable funding that we have agency over is huge. If you can rely on an 80 to 90+% retention rate of supporters, why would you not want to grow that base? So the major gives both sides. They see a flourishing base, they're going to want to give. They're in the flourishing base, they'll want to give more.
So everybody, you need to get Dana's book, The Monthly Giving Mastermind. It is packed with statistics, data, case studies. You heard just a fraction of what's in the book in this podcast right here. So for anybody who wants to set your organization on a path to financial sustainability, Dana walks you through what to do step by step. And she makes it so consumable, so understandable. It's very easy to read. And it just has so many great examples of who's doing it right. You can take ideas and inspiration from. So tell everybody, where do they learn more? How do they pick up their copy? And then now, everybody, you heard it here first. It's now available as an audiobook. So tell everybody, where do they get whichever version they want?
The audiobook is currently right now available on Spotify. And so if you have Spotify Premium, it's automatically available to you. I think if you don't, it's $8.49 right now. It will be available on Audible and all of the things. I'm just waiting for the release to happen of the powers that be in distribution. But same thing for the book, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. It's paperback, online, available wherever you get your books.
Dana Snyder, you have brought a wealth of information and ideas. You have backed it up with just such great expertise, experience, data. Thank you so much for being here and just for generously sharing so much. I'm really grateful.
Of course. I mean, it's 2%. It's what we started the conversation with. And we collectively, if we can make a 2% difference, just think about what $9 billion annually could do for our sector.
What would it be like if you didn't have to worry about making your revenue goals? Or what if you could go to the next board meeting being able to report good news? What if you were able to balance your budget at the end of the fiscal year? And what if you didn't have to program only blockbusters just to sell enough tickets? Offstagers, I have been there, losing sleep over the budget, trying to figure out how we will ever make it through. So what if you had the ability to stop feeling exhausted and depleted, chasing impossible revenue goals, stop what's not working, and instead incorporate a few strategies that are proven to increase ticket sales, expand the donor base, and grow the revenue you need to fund your mission and your art? It's not too good to be true. That is why I am teaching a free masterclass where I share my top 4 strategies to grow your audience and donor base. These are things you can do immediately to start seeing results. Things that don't require a huge team, mega resources, or a giant budget. These are the 4 steps to help you start spinning up revenue immediately. Steps that led the orchestra I ran to balance the budget by the end of my first year there, double the audience over the next 4 years after that, and nearly quadruple the donor base. I have now seen these exact steps work with over 200 individuals and organizations I've taught across budget sizes, geographies, artistic disciplines, and millions of dollars in revenue later. And I will show you how to do it too. Reserve your spot for my free Audience Growth Masterclass coming up very soon. I promise it'll be packed with value, and I've got even more freebies to give you when you attend. Think about the relief and freedom that lies ahead for you when you start increasing sales and donations right away with the steps I'm going to show you. Reserve your free seat for this Audience Growth Masterclass right now by going to www.aubreybergauer.com/masterclass. Can't wait to see you there. That's all for today, folks. Thanks so much for listening. If you like what you heard here, hit that button to follow and subscribe to this podcast. And if you've learned something or gotten value from this, please take 2 seconds to leave a quick 1-tap rating or review in return. To all of you, one more time, thanks again. See you next time on the Offstage Mic. The Offstage Mic is produced by me, Aubrey Bergauer, and Aaron Allen. The show is edited by Novo Music, an audio production company of all-women audio engineers and musicians. Our theme music is by Alex Grohl. Additional podcast support this season comes from Kelly Stedman, other members of the Changing the Narrative team, and social media brand management by Classical Content. This is a production of Changing the Narrative.